Hi, and welcome to this edition of The Hot Seat. I'm your host, Jeff Cawley, along with co-host who's off screen today, Jason Lowry. In the hot seat today is our very own UniTec Embedded English instructor, along with he is the supervisor for the adult education program, Mr. Justin Marler. And he has, Mr. Lowry had the idea of having all of our UniTec staff be on the hot seat. So, are you ready? We got 20 questions for you, sir.
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. Question number one, I'm going to start you off easy with a multiple choice.
Oh, boy.
The Eagles, Styx, or Journey?
The Eagles.
The Eagles.
Easy question.
Easy
Yep.
question. You know, Brenda Medley answered Styx to a very similar question, and I started listening to more and more Styx after that and forgot how good they were. Very good.
People aren't always correct.
But they're not the Eagles.
No.
I agree with you, the Eagles.
Eagles, easy.
Much better.
Easy one.
Got a lot of sports and music-related questions on here because I know you're a
See what we
sports
can
and
do.
music guy. Favorite artist from each of these three genres? Country music. Favorite country music artist?
I'm gonna go with a new one. Guy named Kendall Marvel. If you
Kendall Marvel.
haven't heard this guy, he's amazing. And if you like sort of old school country, a little more modern, he's your
Okay.
guy. Check him out.
Classic rock.
Classic rock. Black Sabbath.
Okay.
Got to go with Black Sabbath.
And now you're kind of a metal guy too. You and Chad Lynn, the only two left in the district, I think. But
Probably.
metal.
Oh, that's the most difficult one of all. Probably Pantera.
Pantera.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Name a former student who you're really proud of. Someone that's kind of made something of themselves and just.
Brendan McClure. He's playing football right now, Missouri Western. Great young man, always has been. Had him in middle school. Watched him grow into an amazing football player. Great person, though.
I had Brendan in class as well.
Yeah,
Good
I
kid.
think everybody who knows him probably has the same feelings.
You know, I only had juniors and seniors, and I had Brendan as a sophomore. And about 5 weeks into class, he comes to me and he says, "Did they tell you I'm just a sophomore?" and they didn't. And I said, "Well,
No.
I'll just keep you in here because he was a good
Well,
kid."
and he looked like a junior or senior
Well,
when
yeah,
he was a sophomore.
yeah, he was
so-
6'5" or something. Next question. Who are some of the best teachers you had? You're a Central guy, went to Central. Who are some of the best teachers you had elementary and high school?
Okay, so I'm going to cheat on elementary and go to sixth grade because it's Coach Denny Mills. There's probably nothing left to say about the man that hasn't been said. Amazing teacher, great coach, another great person, just a great person.
Saw him yesterday.
Did you?
Yes.
That's awesome. High school, I'm going to go with Willa Hassel. Willa is one of the reasons why I pursued English as a career. Again, a teacher who cared about every student no matter what. She cared about everyone.
Their
And it
learning
was-
level or their circumstances at
Yes,
home.
none of that
everyone
mattered.
was treated fairly.
Everyone, she cared about everyone, and I think everyone loved Mrs. Hassel.
Okay, good answer.
And Scott Ragland,
Okay.
track coach in high school. Coach Ragland's great.
We could have a whole 20 questions on Scott Ragland.
We could, yes. And Ken Halter. I got to mention Ken Halter too. I can't. Those
Guy's
guys are
retiring,
all,
so he gets a
yeah,
shout out.
he's going to get one no matter
Right.
what. So
Name a high school friend that you would enjoy seeing again. Someone you haven't seen in a while.
I'm going to cheat on this one a little bit. Friend of mine, Andy Henson. We spent a lot of time together. High school. We went to the same college together. He moved about a year ago now to Arizona, to Yuma, Arizona. So about as far as he could move that way.
Almost Mexico.
Just about. You can see it from there. So it'd be pretty nice to see him again. I actually just saw him last week. So again, kind of cheating, but you know.
Okay. Name something that was popular in high school that's no longer popular.
I would say flannel. We just had this conversation the other day, but apparently flannel's still somewhat popular. Mid to late 90s, you couldn't look at a group picture of anyone from high school. Everyone was wearing flannel.
Okay.
So flannel, and then high school. Doc Martens were a pretty big thing.
Doc Martens, okay.
The big boots looked like you could kick a door down with.
Yeah,
them.
they
Those
weighed.
They were
They were a
super
big
heavy.
thing until people realized they were heavy and they probably weren't
Yep.
good for you.
I'm wearing 96-pound boots
Right.
around all day. It's
Yeah.
probably not the best
An
thing.
80-pound kid wearing 90-pound
Yes.
boots. Mm-hmm. What talent do you have that our viewers may not know about?
I'm not very talented. I am okay at playing the drums, but I think most people know that. I don't really have any talents beyond that, honestly. I'm not a very talented person, and the talents I have, people kind of know about. So.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Who was your favorite athlete of all time?
Of all time?
All time. You get one athlete.
Oh my gosh. Again, gonna pick two. Michael Jordan, because when I was a kid, everybody loved Michael Jordan.
Right.
And Reggie White.
Reggie White.
Reggie
defensive
White.
lineman.
Love Reggie White, especially when he played for the Packers. I know he was an Eagle for a long time, but especially when he played for the Packers. Again, great player. Played football, I think, the way you should play football, but also a good person.
Well, that your answer is a good segue to our next question, which isn't really a question. It's more of an explanation on your part. You are part owner of a professional sports team. Explain to our viewers how that came about.
All right. So those of you who don't know, the Green Bay Packers are the only publicly owned sports team in professional football. And like the NFL won't even allow that to happen anymore. There's a rule so it can't happen anymore. Several years ago, they opened up some shares that you could purchase. They wanted to add some seating and kind of upgrade Lambeau Field. So my wife found out about this, and for, I think it was Christmas that year, she bought me one share, which entitles me to one vote every time they vote on something. And they also send me 4 tickets to the shareholders meeting at Lambeau Field every year, and unfortunately, I haven't been able to go yet. I'm waiting. One of these days, I'm going to check it out. So I've been to Lambeau 2 times, but for games.
Neat story, though.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It was one of the greatest presents I've ever received from anyone. It was really neat. So,
what is your favorite book to read?
My favorite book to read. That changes a lot.
Okay.
Right now, I would probably say The Things That Carried. It's a Vietnam era book. Well, it was written in 1990, but it's about the Vietnam War. It's listed as a fiction book, but I think everyone should read it and make their own decision. Yeah, it's definitely historical fiction. Some of the things in that book, they're so, they kind of smack you in the face.
Is that Walter Dean Myers?
No, it's Tim O'Brien.
Tim O'Brien, okay.
Tim O'Brien.
Okay.
It's anyone who likes the movie Pulp Fiction and the way that story is told, sort of out of order, you really need to check out The Things That Carried. Great book.
What about your favorite book to teach? If you take away the Things They Carry, because I know you taught that too. Favorite book to teach?
Probably of Mice and Men, and we've talked about this before. I love that. It's a short book. That book was a good gateway book for students who weren't interested in reading.
Right.
A lot of those students, they read that and they get hooked instantly, and they were in the story. And that's a great book.
I think it's the reason, at least for me, that's the reason that was the book with juniors that I always led off with.
Mm-hmm.
Led off with that, and then we did Gatsby at the end of the year, which is more difficult, and I think a better book, but you got to work up to that. So that's a great idea the way you're doing it.
It's a very relatable story. I think kids can relate to the characters in that book.
Now, we've had this discussion. Dr. Lynn was a guest yesterday, and so I asked him this question, but I've worded it a little differently after speaking with him. Who do you think is the best guitarist of all time? But who do you also think is your favorite of all time? Because we talked yesterday off camera about how that's different. Mm-hmm. You may think this person is the best, but they're just not your favorite.
Yep.
So who do you think is the greatest all-time guitarist?
Greatest all-time guitarist. Well, this is going to be a little bit of a repeat of the conversation. Honestly, I think it might be Jimmy Page. He's not necessarily my favorite, but he seems like a guy who could probably do almost anything with a guitar.
Okay.
Not a guitarist, so I don't know on the specifics of that. But
who's your favorite? He's not your favorite.
Gosh, my favorite, that's a tough question. I really like Jerry Cantrell, guy who played guitar for Alice in Chains. I don't feel like he's ever written a bad song. But also a big fan of Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath. Stevie Ray Vaughan, great guitarist.
We didn't mention Stevie Ray Vaughan yesterday with Dr. Lynn, but probably one we should have mentioned was overlooked.
He's definitely in the conversation. Eddie Van Halen. I mean, you know, for me, that could be a day-long conversation.
Good answers there. What sport did you most enjoy coaching?
Most enjoy coaching? Football. Honestly, it's my favorite sport, and it's the sport I enjoy coaching the most.
Well, and you had a good group, especially when you're in middle school. You had a good group of guys that coached with you.
A few pretty good teams there. Even my toughest years coaching at any level, it was still my favorite sport to coach.
Okay, great. What's your most memorable moment from coaching?
Ooh, most memorable moment coaching. You know, no one's ever asked me that, and I've never thought about it.
Was there a game that stands out, or
there were a
was
couple of games a few years back that were pretty big games that we won. My nephew, I actually got to coach my nephew when he was in 8th grade. That was a special thing for me to actually get to coach him, and we were pretty successful with his team. And gosh, that's as far as in a game, that might be that season might be the most special. Yeah, I guess I would go with that.
Okay. And I didn't have this question, but now that I was thinking of it while you were answering that one, so I'm going to throw it in here. And we've never asked this. Who's the best middle school athlete you've ever seen or coached?
Best middle school athlete.
Because you had even on that team alone, you had some great players.
Yeah. In terms of, I'm going to go with best middle school football player.
Okay, let's do
because
that.
To me, they're great athletes, and you don't have to be a great athlete to be a great football player. You can make yourself a good football player. You can actually will it into existence, in my opinion. Colton Poorman was a kid in middle school who we could probably put him anywhere on the field, and he could play
like
there
a man
and be effective. He did, yeah. That team that he was on, I've coached varsity, JV, and those kids in 8th grade, the contact that they made was equivalent to JV football. It really was.
Tough to beat KP. He's a good answer.
Well, he's a kid that you just wanted on your team. I mean, you wanted him around.
Who would play you in a movie about yourself?
They would never make a movie about me.
If they did, who has to play Justin Marler?
I would like to have, I'd say Russell Crowe or Ben Affleck.
Russell Crowe, or some dude that looks like
him. Or some dude that looks like him, yeah.
or Ben Affleck, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I'd just like to hang out with Affleck. I think he might be fun to hang out with. Maybe Matt Damon.
Okay.
All those guys are way better looking than me, but, you always want to pick somebody that's,
This is another one. It's not a question, but I always got a kick out of hearing you say this when you taught across the hall from me for years. But you always had something you would say to students when you had your keys in your hand, coming down the hall to let them in the classroom. Explain that to our viewers real quick.
I would hold up my key and I'd say, "Hey guys, got the key to your happiness right here."
And after so long, they just expected it.
Yeah.
They'd see you coming. Here he goes again with his key.
I don't know that anyone felt like that, but I offered it.
Another one that's a little bit of a story, but also part of a question. There's a reason, I know this, there's a reason why you're a huge Jim Croce fan. What's that reason why you're such a big Jim Croce fan?
Jim Croce. So my earliest memory, the first thing that I can remember is sitting on the floor and listening to my dad play on his guitar and sing Jim Croce songs. I can't remember anything past that, and I just remember I know I was really young because my dad seemed like this huge mountain of a guy sitting there, and I'm actually bigger than my dad. So that's the earliest thing I can remember, and I've always been drawn to his songs, and I guess it's because of that.
What was the song?
He would play Bad Bad Leroy Brown. He played Operator a couple times. I remember him playing that one.
Right.
Those are the two big ones that he would go to. He played those a lot.
Rapid Roy.
He never played that one.
Rapid Roy to stop.
But I love that song.
Yeah. Got a tattoo on his arm that says baby.
Another one just says hey.
Another one just says hey.
Yeah.
Great
he never
line.
played that one, but again, I don't think there's a bad Jim Croce song, and I'm probably pretty biased on that.
Same question again I asked Dr. Lynn yesterday. Again, he and I talked about how this changes from time to time because I know you're a huge Springsteen guy. Favorite Springsteen album?
I'm going to throw a curveball here.
All right.
I like The Rising.
The Rising.
And I like one of the things that draws me to The Rising is I feel like it encapsulates a moment in time.
It's a conceptual album.
Yeah, and it's, if you don't know, it came out after September 11th happened. And it's, I don't want to say it's about that, but it feels like it's a lot about that. I'm not going to put words in the boss's mouth. But it to me, it's a very, when I hear anything off that album, I immediately get taken back to that time in my life and in history. So I'm going to pick that one this time.
Okay. Favorite local place to eat?
So in my family, when we go out to eat, it's always a debate on where we're going to eat because there are 5 of us, and we usually have 4 to 5 different suggestions. We can almost always agree on El Tapatio,
Right.
or we can almost always agree on Homestead. My
Okay.
kids love Homestead, and I like it too. So
Right. Good places. All right, last question for you, sir, and you're off the hot seat. If you were a junior or senior coming to UniTec, what program would you be most interested in?
I would probably gravitate toward either machine tool or automotive, because number one, you don't have to climb any ladders for those, and I'm not good.
Not getting on a ladder.
No, I don't. Electrical would be awesome, but you got to climb, and I'm not any good at that. So automotive, because I don't know squat about cars and fixing them, and I could use that the knowledge base. And machine tool, because I didn't realize all the really cool things that they can do there,
Right.
and how useful,
Create some neat stuff.
how
in there.
useful that skill set could be to a student. I mean,
You saw this. I know I've commented to other people when we've had visitors, but Mr. Douglas actually built his own anti-intruder locking mechanism that I've never seen anything like it, and it's it's
Yep.
awesome. And he
It-
created that entire
yeah.
thing in his shop.
you're gonna have to use a chainsaw on that door
Yeah,
before
it's-
you break the mechanism
great
that he
job.
built. It's
Some neat
amazing.
things going on down there.
Yep.
Hey, you are off the hot seat. We hope you like this edition with Mr. Justin Marler from here at the U. And if you do like these episodes, please like and subscribe to our UniTec digital media channel. Thank you and have a great day.